what do I have to do? Like, really, what do I have to do to change this experience I'm calling life, this existence that I'm currently going through, right? And I'm sure this isn't a story that's unique to anyone. I'm not special in any way, but I feel like there's so much more to life than this miserable struggle every day. Wake up, grind, wake up, grind, wake up, grind. Bull we're all going through right now. That I'm going through right now. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen the complete opposite side of that. I've seen the complete opposite side of the wake up grind every day. You know, and I've seen that in my life because I have friends who are my age. Granted, my struggle has brought me a lot of skills, right? There are things that I can say I can do with confidence, that I can, accomplish, that I can get done, that I know for a fact that my rich friends or people who are wealthy will not be able to do because they didn't go through the sort of struggle. They don't have the sort of skills that comes with accomplishing hard things, right? And as much as the struggle is great, as much as coming up from something, like working hard, you come from nothing, you get it out the mud. That's great. That's awesome. That's lovely. But I don't want to do that. I don't. I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. I don't want to strap myself by the bootstraps and go out there and grind and work hard and da 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 da. Like no, bro. Like no. Like this shouldn't be life. Especially when other people don't have to do that. Especially when this isn't something that is mandatory for everyone. If this whole grind, let's get up and grind. Let's get up and work hard. Clock into my clock 9 to 5, and just make sure my boss gets good numbers for his report. Then sure, I'd be like, okay, whatever. We're all struggling. Everyone's going through the same thing. Cool, whatever. It is what it is. But it's not. And the reason why it's not, I'll give you an example right now, right? I used to work at Longo's. I live in Canada. It's a grocery store here. And when I was 16 years old, I'm currently 21. I used to work at Longo's. And what I've noticed is that the environment you grow up in, or just your spawn point, determines where you end up. And a lot of times the reason being for that is because right here is very limited, right? What you think of right here is limited to your environment. It's limited to the people around you. It's limited to what you allow yourself to sort of think about, how much you allow yourself to grow and expand, the world you allow your mind to see. And why I'm saying this because when I was 16 years old, I was working at Longo's. It's a higher end grocery store in Canada. Mostly rich or wealthier people shop there. I'm talking. I was seeing like soccer moms pulling up in like Escalades, like GLEs, um, M4s, Beamers, all types of cars, like higher end cars, all the time. And it's a common occurrence there. Like it happens all the time. And the one thing I noticed about this particular group of people who shopped at that store is that they had a confident air about them. They had a very upright, like, I'm not saying they all were just great people, but they had a very upright, like, self assured, self resilient, like, I can do this sort of image about them. They can look at you in the eye and tell you what they want with confidence. And, they just had that confidence to be themselves, right? And one thing I noticed working in that environment, it was very much uplifting. It was very much like, wow, like life is great. You did like I rarely ever clocked out of that job being mad or being sad or being worried about something because the environment was so positive. The environment, like I hated the job. Don't get me wrong. I was a grocery clerk, so I had to walk the aisles, face the products, and help customers out. I hated the job. I hated my managers, but the environment itself was great to work at, right? And For his first job, I'm very lucky to have had that as my first job. My good buddy of mine, Shinor, shout out Shinor, he put me on the job, and the reason and what I've noticed is that when I compare the group of people who shop at Longos, right, to a completely opposite side, the group of people who shop at Freshco, which is where I used to shop at. Freshco is like, I think the cheapest place to shop at for groceries, like a grocery store, like branded place across Canada. It's not like one of those. It's not like a farmers market. It's a natural grocery, what's it called? It's a natural grocery store, and like has many other branches across Canada. And when I shopped at Longos, as soon as you walk into the place, instantly get it like a gloomy vibe, like a doom gloomy sort of vibe gets you, because first of all, the environment is, it's not like there's stuff on the floor, products on the floor, or it's very dirty, but just the environment, the way products are placed. There's no decorations, there's no ambiance, there's no decor, there's nothing that really gives the place vibrancy. It's like, the place is just simply, you go there to shop, and then you get you go home, right? Whereas this other place, whereas Long goes, there was always decorations, there was always little special things. Like, it was very like colorful and very beautiful. It was a beautiful place to shop at, almost like a mall. I don't know. But walking into Fresco, it immediately you're hit with an air of gloom. Even I would even go as far as to say, like, the lighting they use is different. The lighting they use for the stores, like the store lights, it hits you so harsh in the face. It's like you're almost blinded by it. But the people there, whether it's the customers, the workers, everyone just has a mean, like, mugging, breasting face. It's like everyone's just gloomy and just nasty. Not that they're nasty outwardly, but you look at this person. If you had a question, you would look at an employee working, and you just be like, "Oh, I need to know where the I need to know where Nutella is. I want to get some Nutella." And you look at the person working there, and as you're approaching them, they look at you and give you this look that just says, "Don't me, leave me the alone." And immediately you're like, "Oh, never mind. Let me just find this Nutella on my own. I can walk around and see if I can get it on my own." That, which would never happen at a store like Longo's. Never. That would never happen, because everyone's just had that approachable air about themselves. But anyways, you know, shopping at Freshco really gave me the perspective, right? Because I used to work in this place that was filled with all these vibrant people, and you leave this environment and you go to this environment, and it's like the complete opposite of the world. And this brings me to my next point, uh, spawn points, right? Your starting point in life, where you're born, what family you're born in, who you're born around, really determine a lot of your future. It really determines like where you end up in life. Because I have friends who are born in wealth, right? I'm talking, they live in multi-million-dollar homes. Their fathers have like their own brand, like buildings, like they own buildings, their businesses. I have a friend whose father has a Wraith. He has a Austin Martin, right? This kid, he's a kid who has a GTR. He has a GTR. And I remember there was this one time when I was invited to hang out with them, and they did like a little car meet amongst themselves, and I'm saying a bunch of kids were 17, 18. I think the oldest one was maybe 20, you know? And I'm thinking, oh, it's just gonna be a bunch of us guys, or whatever. The boys hanging out. We'll probably like get some food somewhere. We pull up. The friend that I pulled up with Shinor actually, um, he drove his mom's minivan. So we pull up in the minivan. I'm riding passenger. We pull up. I see GTR, M4 competition, the Mercedes CS63 or whatever it's called. The like a lineup. They're like in a circle, like all their headlights facing the sort of the middle of the circle. So cars are in a circle and like headlights are on facing, and they're all just standing in a circle, chatting, just talking, you know. And I'm just like, bro, what? These are the guys we're hanging out with. I'm like, and then Shinor's like, yeah, like, you know, uh, he knows a couple of these guys, and I'm just like, damn, bro, what the? And as we pull up, I catch a conversation that as I'm going by, and I hear these kids. Mind you, these kids are my age. These kids were my age. Well, they're my age now. I'm 21, but at the time we were like 16, whatever, 17 years old, like, around that age. This kid is talking about some. Oh, bro, should I get that? Should I get that tune for my GTR or something like that? It was one of these modifications that people buy for their cars. And he's like, yeah, dude, you should definitely get it. But 20K, for 20K you can get something even better. You can get something even better for that. It was like around 20K. I think they were talking 20K, 15K, whatever. And I'm like, I had to sort of pause my steps. I was taken aback, like 20K. You mean $20,000? Like Canadian $20,000? Not Zimbabwe 20,000. Like, are we talking the same figures here? Like $20,000? You're gonna spend 20K to add a piece of metal or whatever it's to just make your car sound louder or sound better. And now I get it. Now I get it. I get why. I get the fascination with cars. I do. I'm not shaming anyone who does that, but at the time I was really shocked because I mean, to me, 20K, even now, you know, 20K could change my family. I mean, the sort of problems we were facing, I was thinking like, bro, if I had 20K, like 90% of those problems would be gone, like that. But this kid is talking about 20K and putting that in his car. So that was the first sort of experience I had with that group, and it just became weird and weird as I was hanging out with them because the sort of problems that these kids think about, it's like a completely different world. They don't the same sort of little things that you and me may think about, like, oh, dude, man, I can't believe I have to spend another $100 to buy that pair of shoes. Like, I was really hoping to wear these pair of shoes for another like 3 4 months, but now that there's a hole in them or whatever, I have to go and spend $150 to get a new pair of shoes. That's so annoying. Or, oh, dude, that my phone bill's coming up soon. I really hope I can get in some more hours and I work to not have to lose my cell service or whatever the case. Like, there's countless different things that you just have to worry about. And these kids, well, the kids with the cars and stuff, nope, nope. I mean, the sort of problems that they're talking about, the sort of things they're talking about. Not once did I ever hear a single time of all the years I've known these guys for, of all the times I've hung out with them. Not once have I heard them talking about a problem about it's always either girls, it's either maybe their parents, it's either what vacation they're gonna go on, it's either um what like uh it's either what sort of what brands are better. I don't know, like just some bull. It's just literally just some bull. It's like it's never, oh, dude, money wise or struggle because they have to put in more hours at work or whatever. It's never, to me at least, it's never real world problems. When I say real world problems, I'm saying like it's never problems that like affect you in the real world. Like figuring out what mod to buy for your car is not really a real world problem. It's more like a choice problem. Like you can choose to just drive the car as it is, or you can, you know, whatever you do with your modded car. And that really took me by shock, took me by surprise. And it made me realize that this life, this existence we call life, is not fair. It's not fair. It's like, you know, and I would accept that if it wasn't fair, if we all had the same starting point. If we all started at the same level, and then somehow some people ended up all the way up here, and then some people just stayed right here, sure, whatever, this person worked a lot harder because we all started here. We all started here. That person got there. You're still there. Obviously, it's because this person worked a lot harder, put in more time, put in more effort, put in more grind, whatever. That's fine. But when some people would start right here, and you're starting like below the line, you're starting like in the ground. It's just not fair. And and only after you sort of realize that your mind and your environment limit your sort of thoughts, right? Because when you're born from nothing, when you're born with struggle, when you're born with having to work for everything that you have, you're limited always you're always limited to just thinking like, hey, if I work enough I can get this. If I work enough I can get that. If I work enough I can get this. If I work enough I put in more hours. If I do this, if I do that, I can just be able to afford this. But when you're born on the opposite side of the world, on the opposite side of that spectrum, you're not limited to oh, I can do enough. Your thought pattern is, oh yeah, I'll get that, and I'll get this, and I'll get that, and I'll get this, and I'll get that. You know what I mean? It's a more freeing thought pattern where you're not limited to I can only do this, I can only do that, right? And I noticed that with school as well. It's like, with me going to university, it was either I do well or I'm right. I either this is my only chance. It's like that pressure. Can you imagine like a kid who grew up with nothing, family grew up with nothing, they scrounged whatever bit they could scrounge to send their kid off to school, and now this kid has all this unimaginable amount of pressure to perform well and do well, right? So he has to absolutely excel, right? And be able to do well and perform in school, where because that's his only option, at least with school, that's like he has to, right? Whereas the opposite side of that, it's like these kids just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna try marketing, see how that is. What do you mean try? You know how much thousands of dollars you're spending for uh uh to take those courses. Oh yeah, I'm gonna try marketing. I was thinking of, if marketing doesn't work, I might even try that other thing. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. And it's like this is it. It's like that's the reality we're faced with, because so some people have choices, and they're able to freely exert and freely just be at peace with their choice. They can freely choose. Whereas some people, they're just limited to what they can get. They're limited to you know what they can see, and to what they can get, and to what they know will be able to get them more, right? So as a poor person, you're not looking at some arts and crafts degrees. You're not looking at some this studies that. You're looking at engineering. You're looking at computer science. You're looking at the hardest shit that gets you the most money. There's no creativity, there's no arts, there's no sports. Maybe sports if you have the money, but then again it's like, or if you have the talent, I should say. And I'm just tired of it. I honestly, it's like, I understand the grind, but truly, and this life is unfair. It's unfucking fair, man. And and I understand why people struggle so much. I understand why there's so much gloom and doom in this world. Why there's all this nastiness in this world, is because how can you possibly talk about, oh, I need to work hard? How can you possibly have a mindset of wanting to work hard, right? And day in and day out, you're doing the same hard work, busting your body. busting your like your mind is constantly on problems you have to fix. Your mind is constantly on solutions to those problems and new ones, anticipating new problems coming in, right? For next month, because it's never just this month. It's next month. It's next year, right? How can you live like that? And then you turn around and you see some 16-year-old kid driving a GTR, a 17-year-old kid driving an M4 competition, and it's like they live in it's like they live in a completely different world from you, and you're just like what the hell, like what is this life where some of us have to suffer so much, have to go through so much unimaginable struggle just to get a little bit of what people are born with, a little bit of what people, you know, grow up having. It's like a norm for all these people, right? And I'm not saying, oh, I shouldn't. I've had a construction job. I've had like 4 different jobs. I tried school, like, it's like because of how limited the options of someone who doesn't have a lot, because of how limited your mindset is, because of how limited you are when you're broke, when you're poor, when you grow up from nothing, right? You don't have much options to explore. You don't have much options to really think about who you are, what you want to do with yourself, and where you want to be, right? And so the sort of options you're given and the sort of options you're left with, if you don't succeed at them, meaning you don't do well in school and you fuck school, well, you're done for. Because what else are you gonna do? You didn't do well in school, so what are the options you are? You don't have any money to start a business. You don't have any money to, you know, venture and maybe try a different program or what. There's no money. There's no money, and in this economy and just how things are now, forget about that. Whereas when you're on this side of the aisle, you can explore and do all the fucking bullshit you want to do. You can just fail and quit and try again and try 4, 5, 6, 7 different 8 times before you succeed. Because eventually you're going to. When you do something enough, it's like it's a almost guaranteed. And it leaves such a sour feeling in your mind. It's like what the and I'm not hating. I get it. There's different lotteries in life. Some people win the family lottery. Some people win the body lottery, the physiques lottery. Some people, win the actual lottery. And it's like, I get that. These kids were lucky enough. I feel like we're all born and created equal in the eyes of God, but obviously in this world, there's classes, there's divisions. So these people are just born different. And they're born, you know, they're born having what they have. They didn't choose to be born in rich families. I didn't choose to be born in a poor one, right? These are just things that happen, right? Now that they're born in rich families, they shouldn't feel bad because they were born in a wealthy family. That's not their fault, right? And I shouldn't, feel that it's unfair because I was born in a poor family. It wasn't my fault. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's just how it is. But what I'm trying to get at is that this whole this whole this whole sort of mindset or this idea that people push around of like, oh, you just need to you need to you need to lock in. You need to just lock in. Pull yourself by the bootstraps and really get out there and get it for yourself. And it's like, sure, that works. Yes, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying don't try. Definitely try and definitely put in the time and effort that you need to put in to get what you want. Because if you don't, the difference between people who are born poor and who are born on this side, if you don't, you're just you're just like that's it. If you don't try, if you don't put in the work, if you don't even as so much as like, decide to do something with yourself, you're just done for. There's no other options. Whereas people on this side, you don't have to do shit. Like you could day in and day out, today you're gonna travel to Tokyo, tomorrow you'll be in Greece, and then afterwards you'll be in South America. And then when you're getting bored of traveling, you just hang around your pet your what's it called, your condo up north somewhere, go skiing. It's like there's just it, and it's like, people on this side of the world only really attain sort of accolades, like they only graduate from school because it's like, okay, well, you can't inherit daddy's business, or you can't inherit his business if you don't have some sort of like, hey, know-how, right? If you don't like have a know-how of like how to run the business, people who work for your dad are not gonna have the confidence to for your dad to leave that business to you, or whatever the case may be, right? But it's like, it just goes, what I'm trying to say is like, you don't have to do when you're there's a safety net that surrounds you when you live on this side of the world. Whereas where you're on this side of the world, there's no safety net. If you fail, you're cut. If you fail, you're done for. If you fail, it's it. That's it. And then you have to resolve to a life of crime, or a life of bitter hatred, where you're constantly day in and day out. I mean, you see it on the internet almost every day. Yeah, my recording cut out. I was talking for a little bit more than that. But anyways, what I want to just conclude with is that you should definitely try. You should definitely put in the time, put in the effort, put in the grind. I know it's hard. Trust me, I'm going through it. You're going through it. It's hard right now. It is, but have a vision that what you're working on right now, whether you're going to school, whether you're working on a business, whether you're working on in sports, you're really going for, like, you're trying to be an athlete. Whatever you're doing, maybe you're a gamer, whatever you're doing. As long as you have that like grind set, as long as you're truly gonna grind, as long as you're gonna say like, hey, this is it, like you're like, it's this or nothing. It's like you're gonna put in that time, that effort, that commitment, cut off the distractions, cut off everything else, just like commit. Because the one thing you really need, the one thing I've noticed, even starting with this YouTube stuff, learning how to edit, learning how to, all this stuff, it's like consistency. You need consistency. If you're not consistent, you're done for. So it's like, definitely try. But it's like, it's a reality you have to accept in this world, in this life. It's not fair, but it is fair, and that's just how it is. So, you know, that's life. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, please like the video. I'm a new channel. Subscribe. I have a lot more content just like this coming your way. But peace. Have a good day.